Hi, and welcome back to NDI Central Live at NAB 2018. Again, we're here at the NewTek booth webcasting for the remainder of today in the South Hall of the Las Vegas Convention Center. And with me now is NewTek VP of Worldwide Services, Mr. Peter Haller.
Hi,
welcome,
Rex.
Peter.
Thanks.
Well, you head up a very important department at NewTek that really has multiple services that it provides. Not only the basic service, call-in service, and online service.
Right, the support. Variants of support that we provide.
Let's just start there.
Okay, sure.
Explain some of that services.
Well, overall, I mean, the idea of services really is to make sure that we're providing customers a way to maximize the value and effectiveness they get from all of our products. Mm-hmm. That's really what it's about. Obviously NewTek creates really groundbreaking products, and I think at this show more than ever before, maybe not back to the video toaster, because that was unbelievably groundbreaking, but in terms of the modern products we have, there's just been a tremendous acceleration in terms of what we've done. Mm-hmm. So what that means is products they get purchased by customers. They have a certain capability. But customers always have the actual production requirements that usually are above and beyond the out-of-the-box capability of the product, and that could mean that the operators need to be trained. It could mean that there's a workflow that they're trying to integrate and interoperate with other products. So we're going to help them do that, and the best time to do that is actually proactively. They're deploying and designing a system. We help with the workflow. We help train operators. We can help with automation, and then on the other side of it, of course, is if customers get into trouble using the equipment, which does happen. Mm-hmm. We can give them quick how-tos. We have of course a product support department. So yeah, that really encompasses the sort of things we do to make sure that they're successful. And of course, if there's hardware failures or whatever, which never happen, never ever happen in any production. Productions always go flawlessly. Mm-hmm. But when those sort of mishaps do happen, everything from someone had a power spike or they dropped a cup of coffee or something like that. Of course, we also do the RMAs of equipment and make sure that our repairs go well and all of that. And it's all about taking care of the customer.
Now, I mean, I know just from my own personal experience, when I have a new system that I'm unfamiliar with,
right,
the best time to get training for it and to learn that system is as soon as you are exposed to it. Right. Because learning the wrong way on your own can sometimes be a worse than taking the time right up front to learn it the right way.
Exactly.
And that's what ProServe is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
one of the components.
That's one of the components is training. I mean, when you talk about when customers unbox a product, they say the user manual is usually used twice. It's when you're tossing it aside, and then when you're in trouble. Right. Like those are the two times that someone turns to a user guide. Really, training up front, it's something you always want to schedule. You wouldn't try to do almost anything complex in life without someone telling you what the right way is, or you would expect to fail a few times. Mm-hmm. Well, most customers, especially when they've just laid down an investment for new production equipment, they're putting together a new studio or they're mounting a new production. The last thing they want to do is fail a few times. And so that's really an area I think that the services department at NewTek provides a tremendous amount of value. It could be just on the level of hand-holding. We're going to check workflows. We're going to check what they're trying to do, make sure it all looks perfect. We're going to make a few minor corrections maybe. Everything up to you've got a novice user, whether they have never used our products before or if they're new to production. I mean, we deal with customers at all different ends of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to show them exactly how to do what their job is, exactly how to do it on our equipment. We're going to make sure the assets are all compatible. We're going to, of course, make sure the signals flow the way they should. And increasingly with NDI, which is a fantastically flexible technology, we're going to make sure that what they're trying to do on their network is also going to be compatible with everything else they might be doing on the network, or find them a really cost-effective way to mount a network just for their video production. Mm-hmm.
So with a product line that has grown to be so multi-layered and it can do so many things, NewTek offers services to help customers with all sorts of applications, unique applications, typical broadcast applications, and even production workflows.
Well, that's exactly right. NewTek's pace of innovation is glorious or insane, depending on which side of my responsibility I'm dealing with that day. But it's it really we have an equipment staging lab. We'll put together workflows on brand new technology that we've essentially just invented. We're throwing that into a lot of different what-if scenarios. We try and break it. We put that information, we provide that information back to our engineering team, but we also use that to develop knowledge just around what solutions customers should be using, and we build up those best practices. And so, what we ideally like to see is a customer that's trying something new, we'll interface with them to make sure that the way they're trying to do it is actually the right way. There may be 4, 5, 6 different ways to do something, and we'll know what the various pitfalls are of ways that aren't really the number one best practice. So it's really developing that sort of information. We have such a wide variety of products now, everything from the cameras and PTZ control and third-party PTZ cameras with NDI now, to anything that you can attach to a NewTek Connect Spark, and then of course you've got the whole modular nature of our integrated production systems now, where someone's going to have pure IP coming from sources, they're going to have baseband coming in, they're going to be moving that onto the network via our NC1 IO boxes or NC1 ins or outs, and at the end of the day, NDI is a technology that we tout as being very, very easy to use and plug and play almost. And it really is, but when you start adding a lot of complexity to a production, and it's what creative professionals do, is they try and make the best production they can. They're going to put the best graphics there. They're going to, and they want as much immediacy and as much ability to tell a story as they can have. We want to make sure that all of those options are working, and that when they try something, they're getting the benefit of the expertise that my team's developed.
Well, talk about maybe some general examples of how NewTek Professional Services has worked with customers to either install or to create their workflows.
Well, sure, absolutely. I mean, at the most basic level, customers are going to get like a professional services plan, which is sort of a catch-all. It means that they're going to get assistance from my team in various areas. The most basic is probably training. We're going to look at what they're trying to do, the production that they have. We always start with their production requirements, and we're going to look at the level of expertise their operators have, and we kind of make the two meet in the middle, where we make sure that the production's doing the sort of things that it needs to do. We make sure their operators get trained to the point that they need, and so that's a great area to use NewTek Professional Services, ProServe. The other side of it is also just in terms of developing automation. Our products have a tremendous macro engine in them, and we have the ability to be triggered from all sorts of different channels right now, whether it's MIDI or web triggering. So there's a lot of different opportunities for us to actually make a show very easy to control.
Live panel, creating live panels.
Exactly.
Right?
Live panel is a tremendous asset for us. Essentially, that lets you create a button panel that you can do on a touch tablet. You can do it on a laptop. You can do it anywhere on your network, Wi-Fi or wired, and it enables show direction and show control from any location with almost minimal training. On the other hand, when you have someone that you're putting together a PCR and you've got the full control panel for a product, and you've got all the different file types and assets they can bring in, you really do want to train someone on the full breadth of the product. And with NDI and the extensibility we have with our own products and also third-party NDI partners, the full breadth is always an expanding thing these days. And so, yeah, that's something that we definitely get involved with very frequently. And also just workflow design and commissioning. That's another area that we do, and is basically just making sure that everything is working exactly as designed, exactly as intended on the workflow. And again, that's really making it so that from a creative and storytelling standpoint, all of the features that the customer thought they purchased, we make sure it's actually going to contribute to their ability to mount their production.
Well, I know that TriCaster, NewTek products, TriCaster TC1 and VMC1 have really become a platform, though designed in a traditional video production, broadcast production workflow. it's really become more of a platform that can be customized for some unique applications and then controlled through live panel. Isn't that right?
Right. Well, that's a really interesting aspect. You know, we learned a number of years ago that the product, the breadth of the product and features, it got to a point where no one was using the entire product. You could do so much, and whether it was the virtual sets or someone's using it. And what we found is our macro engine, in and of itself, is phenomenal to just automate a lot of these tasks. So as we build things in live panel. So Live Panel has Panel Builder. So in addition to the sort of canned interfaces that it comes with, the audio control, playout control, you can also build your own, which means you can monitor sources, you can monitor preview and program. You can also do just push button control of various direct functions on the product. You can also trigger any automation. And this has enabled us to do really wild things. For example, we've created sort of intelligent programming that sits there on the web control side of the interface. So behind the button panel, not only is it enabling you to select a source, it's actually enabling you to select talent. And it's deciding which camera is the best one to move to capture that talent. I mean, so it's a very interesting thing. So it knows what camera's on program, it knows what cameras have presets that will get to that position, and it's intelligently picking through a list, and essentially those lists are provided on like a spreadsheet level. So we're integrating a lot of different data sources into one production.
Well, and the specific requirement, if I remember, was that they needed an interface system that can be operated practically almost by volunteers, right?
Yes, exactly.
Or very, operators that didn't have to go through a lot of broadcast training and background.
That's right.
That could basically walk up and anyone could operate it, correct?
Right. I mean, increasingly, this is the situation we find ourselves in, is that the cost to bring on operators and train them is a very significant part of putting the production together. So by automating it and making these button panels that you've got 5 or 6 buttons that run your entire show, it just makes it really easy. You can have talent walk up and they can record a segment just by going through a few buttons. We have customers we've worked with to put that together on like Novation launch pads, where they can just go and they really don't need a director there in order to just do a quick package. We have like this situation where it was essentially this was meeting control, and we wanted to make sure that at various locations in the room you could decide who was going to be the speaker at that given time, and the production would not be one camera and you'd see all of these PTZ moves and jerky things like that in the production, but you would actually have presets being pulled up on cameras that were on preview, and then you had a time switch to program, and so it made it look like a very polished production, even though it was really people who were literally running the meeting who were also interfacing with the technology and running the production. I mean, it is a really, really neat situation.
So, I mean, that's a great example of a use where it's a meeting that happens perhaps daily or weekly.
Right,
it's the exact same format every single time. The equipment is installed in that location. It never changes.
That's
and
right.
it's just this redundant thing that has to be either archived, captured and archived, or sent out broadcast to a company or something like that. And it doesn't really require the high-end broadcast operators and camera operators. It's just something that needs to be done each day. So that's a very good example of just a very specific use, and the most simple method to be able to achieve that.
Well, that's right. And I mean, this is something that if you think about it, as you look at treating meetings more like produced events, the question that has always come up, and we deal with this even within our own offices at NewTek, which is, if you're going to have a meeting, do you need an operator there in order to run the production side of the meeting? And the answer is usually you certainly don't want to. And so we've adopted a lot of the same technology just for our own internal meetings, where we'll have a TriCaster and it'll have some basic automation running and a button panel. And okay, we want to, and so it gives you just very, very simple meeting control. The other thing nice about it is that once you've got this programmed, you could take, for example, a bunch of JPEG headshots of the various people at the meeting, and so the buttons actually become those people. And it just makes it unbelievably easy for an operator, or actually a non-operator, to run an event like that.
So how does one get this the professional services from NewTek? How is that? how's that set up?
Well, there's a number of ways. The easiest way to get information on it is if you go to we have a web page set up for it. It's new.K/services. That's the easiest way to just get general information. But the truth is, our dealers offer a tremendous amount of service themselves. Many of them will do local training. Obviously, the other alternative is NewTek sends people and does on-site training as well. But a great resource is reach out to your NewTek dealer. They may be able to assist with workflows. They can always escalate things up to NewTek. For larger projects, they would work directly with the professional services team at NewTek. And the easiest way to get engaged with that is with one of these professional service plans. And what that really means is we understand sort of a level of assistance that a customer is going to need. So if it's a brand new operators, brand new control room, that's going to be a different level than, okay, we've just got some questions on this latest production, or we want a little bit of automation on it. And so we sort of estimate the level, and it could be that they need 20 hours of assistance or 50 hours of assistance, and you buy it as a block, and it just makes it much easier to spec up front. And then beyond that, we go through what are the actual production requirements, and we sort of get it down to the nitty-gritty. But it gives us a budget to work within, and our dealers can do that, can set up an arrangement like that, or it can be directly with NewTek.
Great. So website, most information, and it's called ProServe now, correct?
It's called ProServe. It's called ProServe. This is something that we're relating very closely to LivePanel, because one of the great things about LivePanel is someone could sort of get their feet wet with it. I'm going to go and put a button panel together, and then the very next step is, gosh, if I could just automate a lot of these functions in the production, these buttons can be a lot more powerful. And that's where ProServe really gets engaged, and that's where you get a tremendous amount of value.
Okay, so a lot of different services available, a lot of different levels of help available.
Exactly.
So they can either engage with the reseller directly to arrange for that, or contact NewTek directly to arrange for that, correct?
That's exactly right. Okay. That's exactly right.
Great. Peter, thanks for taking the time to talk to us about professional services at NewTek. And stick around. We'll be back with more after a break.